repeatedly lost. Fellowship with God is what we lost. No more walks in the cool of the evening. Man's religious attempts are what he uses to try to get back what he lost. Man lost his God. He lost his health. Fear took the place of peace. No longer in control of what God had placed in his hands. His home was gone. His livelihood was gone. Then the curse fell upon us. All of creation fell under the curse. Death was part of that curse. Man began his physical death march. Let me make sure we understand something here. You remember when God spoke to Adam and warned him, he said, the day that you eat of this tree, the day that you disobey me, you will die. Now that's a law of God. And of course that law will never change. Several thousand years later, Ezekiel, the prophet, said, the soul that sins shall die. You go to the New Testament, Paul says the wages of sin is death. That law will never change. That's a law that God made in the garden. But we get confused. And here's the confusion. It's because of our human level of thinking. Adam actually lived 900 plus years. But God said, the day that you disobeyed, the day you eat, you will die. But he lived, after he was driven out of the garden, he lived in the wilderness of sin over 900 years and died. So we naturally ask the question, what's going on here? What did God mean? And here's what we need to understand. There is spiritual death and there is physical death. The day that Adam disobeyed God, he died spiritually. Now the physical death started because he began a process of deterioration. He began to age and he would eventually die physically, but that day, the day that he disobeyed, the hour he disobeyed, the moment he disobeyed, he died spiritually. Spiritual death simply means that we have been separated from God. When we talk about spiritual death, it doesn't not mean that we do not have a human spirit that is alive. Our human spirit is alive. Our body, we are made of body, soul, and spirit. But it is that human spirit within us that is separated from God, and that is spiritual death. That is what happened to Adam that day. That's the reason he suddenly knew immediately that he was naked. He was separated from God. Yes, he lived another 900 years physically. But he started his death march.